There comes a moment in every life when the truth dawns on us. Most people don't care about your struggles, your failures, or even your dreams. Not out of cruelty, but because they are too consumed by their own lives, their own pains, their own ambitions. It's a sobering realization. At first, it can feel lonely, even depressing. We want others to validate us, to recognize our efforts, to notice our hardships. Yet life reveals a harsher but liberating truth. You are not the center of anyone's world, but your own. The Stoics embraced this truth fully. They understood that expecting the world to care about you is a fast road to disappointment. But accepting that indifference, and even thriving in it, is the foundation of freedom, resilience, and true self-mastery. Today, we'll explore what happens when you finally realize nobody cares. Why this insight, painful as it sounds, can change everything for the better, and how the Stoic philosophers turned this realization into a source of unshakable strength. Insight number 1. The illusion of significance. From childhood, we are taught to seek approval. We crave recognition from parents, teachers, friends. Social media magnifies this instinct, making us believe our lives are always under the spotlight. But the Stoics remind us of a humbling truth. Most people are not thinking about you at all. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome and philosopher king, wrote in his Meditations, "Soon you will have forgotten the world, and soon the world will have forgotten you." This isn't cynicism, it's clarity. We overestimate our significance in the minds of others. Epictetus reminded his students, "When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger." In other words, while you're consumed with how others perceive you, they are mostly consumed with themselves. And here lies the first power of this realization. Once you understand that people don't care as much as you thought, you are free from the chains of their judgment. Insight number 2. Freedom from approval. One of the greatest causes of suffering is the need for validation. We exhaust ourselves trying to prove our worth, in careers, relationships, even in casual interactions. But the Stoics teach, true respect and dignity don't come from the applause of others, but from your own alignment with virtue. Marcus Aurelius again reminds us, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Imagine the strength you would gain if you lived by this principle. If you stopped chasing approval and instead focused on living with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. When you realize nobody cares, you stop performing for the crowd. You begin living authentically. Insight number 3. The burden of entitlement. Many of us secretly believe the world owes us something: recognition, kindness, fairness. But the Stoics confronted this illusion head-on. Life owes you nothing. People are not required to support you, understand you, or even like you. Seneca wrote, "Expecting is the greatest impediment to living. In anticipation of tomorrow, we lose today." When you release the sense of entitlement, the belief that others must care, you remove a heavy burden. You stop waiting for external rescue and start building inner strength. Insight number 4. The liberation of responsibility. Here's the paradox. Once you accept that nobody cares, you gain absolute responsibility over your life. There is no cavalry coming, no savior to fix your problems. And while this sounds frightening, it is actually empowering. Epictetus taught, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace." When you stop expecting others to solve your problems, you discover your own capacity to act. This is where resilience, discipline, and determination are forged. You stop asking, "Who will help me?" and start declaring, "I will help myself." Insight number 5. Shifting focus to what truly matters. If nobody cares, then what should you care about? The Stoics give us a simple but profound answer. Care about what is within your control. Your thoughts, your actions, your character. Everything else, praise, criticism, fame, wealth, other people's opinions, is ultimately indifferent. This doesn't mean you become cold or uncaring. Stoicism isn't about apathy, it's about clarity. You still love, you still serve, you still contribute. But you no longer chain your self-worth to the responses of others. Marcus Aurelius lived under constant scrutiny as emperor. Yet he reminded himself daily, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this, you have the power to revoke at any moment. Insight number 6, indifference as strength. Imagine this in practice. You're insulted at work, ignored in a relationship, overlooked for recognition. Most people would spiral into self-doubt or anger, but the Stoic response is indifference, not numbness, but strength. You acknowledge, this is outside my control. Their opinion does not define me. My worth is not diminished. And in that moment, you hold a power that arrogance, disrespect, and neglect cannot touch. Insight number 7, building inner fortress. So what do you build once you accept this truth? You build an inner fortress, a mind unshaken by flattery or insult, a soul guided not by the chaos of others, but by the compass of virtue. The Stoics believed that the world's indifference is not an obstacle. It is the very condition that allows us to cultivate strength. Like a sculptor shaping marble, life's hardships and neglect carve out resilience, wisdom, and independence within us. Seneca beautifully wrote, "It is difficulties that show what men are. Nobody caring is not your downfall. It is your training ground, the gift of indifference." So what happens when you finally realize nobody cares? At first, it stings, but then it transforms. You stop waiting. You stop begging for attention. You stop fearing disapproval. You stand firm in the only thing that truly matters: your own reason, your own virtue, your own actions. The Stoics did not seek to be cared for. They sought to live rightly, to master themselves, to embody wisdom and courage, no matter who noticed. And in that freedom, they found peace. So remember, nobody cares as much as you think, and that's not a curse. It's a blessing. It is your permission to stop performing and start living. If this message resonates with you, don't just let it pass. Make this your turning point. Subscribe to the Stoic Voice, where we bring the wisdom of the ancients into the struggles of today. And always remember, live the Stoic way.